To President Obama, Americans' view of his job performance seems to be improving. That's according to a new CNN ORC poll, which shows 48% now approve of the way the president is handling his job. And while that is only slightly above the 47% who disapprove, it is the first time in nearly 2 years that more people have a positive impression of President Obama than a negative one. Here to talk about that, Donna Brazil, Democratic strategist and CNN political commentator, and Tara Setmayer, former Republican National Committee official and CNN political commentator. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Hi, Donna.
Good. We're off to a positive start.
Oh, we go way back.
That's awesome. Tara, pollsters say this is notable. It's a notable positive shift for President Obama. Do you agree?
Well, I think this is part of an interesting trend. It started toward the end of the year, and then building up to the State of the Union, and then with the gas prices being lower, unemployment coming down, people naturally see those as indicators of things going well. But we also need to keep it in perspective. It's still within the margin of error. Still under 50%, and you know, and Donna knows this well, that depending on who you poll will give you the result that you want. Before the elections, you poll likely voters, where now most pollsters use registered voters or adults, and those folks tend to swing more Democrat. So these poll numbers here, we need to keep them in perspective. I'm not surprised by them. The president really hasn't been dominating the headlines lately either. He's been relatively absent on the domestic front. It's been mostly foreign policy, where he's polling terribly at around 38%.
So I probably think the CNN pollsters would disagree with you.
Well, I would ask them. This poll was not likely voters. It was registered voters or adults. They know.
Donna.
Come on, Donna.
You know, first of all, my mother used to say, numbers don't lie. You know, but you know, the truth is, nobody really cares about the president's poll numbers. We will care about them later, of course, but they care about the fact that more and more Americans are finding work. That's what's important. We've had 61 months of consecutive job growth, 12.1 million jobs. And yes, the president deserved a lot of credit, because I tell you, if it was the reverse, he'll be getting a lot of blame. So yes, the president was down in North Carolina last week talking about jobs in the economy. He has middle-class economics. He's not hiding from his record. He's out there trying to work hard each and every day to ensure that every American who wants to find work will be able to find a job.
Okay, I do want, before we go on, I do want to put the numbers in historical perspective, because I think it's pretty interesting, right? Okay, so to put these numbers in historical perspective, at the same point in their presidencies, Bill Clinton was at 60%, wow, George W. Bush was at 36%, and Ronald Reagan was at 48%, which matches exactly where Obama is now. So comparatively, Obama's numbers are good, you could argue, right? The question that I have, though, Tara, will these numbers embolden the president to continue with his executive orders?
Well, a couple things. One, to Donna's point really quickly, the jobs that have been created have been primarily part-time jobs, and Americans' hourly hours worked is the lowest since the Johnson administration. It's only at 33.8 hours. Household income is down $2,200 under this president, and for someone who is talking about it being for the middle class and just redistributing wealth, the top 1% has actually made out really great under the Obama administration, and the lower quintiles have done terribly. It's the middle class that's getting hammered. So to put that in,
true, Donna.
And wages are basically stagnant. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear. Now, as far as
wages are currently rising, not fast enough, and if the Republicans got out of the way,
less than 2%, not with inflation.
Well, you know what? If the Republicans got out of the way, especially those on Capitol Hill, and began to roll up their sleeves the way the president has over the last 6 years, you know what? We would find more and more jobs. But you know, Carol, from where the president started in
30 jobs
please, come on.
They have
since 2009. I know, excuses. But since 2009, look how far we've come. We got a long way to go, but you know what? We're heading in the right direction. We just need more help and support from those who constantly oppose everything that this president says and does. It's like a tired old record. Go out and get you a new CD. I mean, we need some new music.
Well, I think the 92 million Americans who don't have jobs and who are out of the workforce would disagree, and the people who have lost their health care, and the small businesses that are closing at record numbers, and more closing than are starting in small business under this administration.
Oh, come on, Tara,
so
the economy is not doing
it is. I mean, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm not making these things up, but if we talked about this more, people would understand that, what's actually happening.
and if we got policies that didn't favor the top 1%, like the Republicans did last week on the estate tax, I mean, they still believe that trickle down is going to give somebody something to brag about.
It hasn't happened.
That's right.
It has not
President
happened.
Obama. There was a time when both houses of Congress were just controlled by Democrats.
The first 2 years, and he chose to go with health care instead of going to the economy.
And millions of Americans now have health insurance, Tara. Millions have health insurance.
I have to leave it there.
At what cost?
Love, baby.
Karen,
Peace and love. Get your joy.
Yes.
Get your joy, Tara. Get your joy.
Still to come. Still to come in the newsroom. A massive recall.